The college basketball season is in full force, and both Marquette teams start off strong.
And the Marquette volleyball team is slowly losing ground in the Big East.
Thank you for joining us. Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam! Dunk! Oh, that's a poster.
Live from the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down.
Good evening, everyone. I'm London Davis alongside the one and only Adrian Fraga. It was a night to remember for the men's basketball team as they kicked off their highly anticipated season against the Northern Illinois Huskies.
And after unveiling the Big East Championship banner, Shaka and his squad were ready for the opening tip.
The first game jitters were on full display as both teams could not find the bottom of the basket on its first couple possessions.
It wasn't until none other than junior guard Cam Jones breaks the ice, draining a three-pointer for Marquette's first points of the season.
Northern Illinois responds with a three of their own from senior guard Philman Geber-Hewitt to even the score.
And the rust is falling off as the game progresses because the Golden Eagles can't get a rhythm going until midway through the first half.
Marquette went on a small run early, but it was not until sophomore guard Chase Ross swishes a three that the Golden Eagles found some life.
The offense was hitting on all cylinders in the first half, with senior guard Tyler Kolek pumping up the crowd with the back-to-back three-pointers to push the lead to 20.
The good vibes kept flowing as the men walk into the locker room with a commanding 50-28 lead in halftime.
The second half is more of the same as both teams trade baskets in the opening minutes.
The Golden Eagles cooled off beyond the arc, only hitting 2 three-pointers in the second half.
But it doesn't matter, though, as Marquette is dominating in the paint, highlighted by 2 monster dunks from sophomore forward Ben Gold.
First-year forward Al Amadou puts the exclamation point on the night with a ferocious putback dunk to send the Huskies packing. With the 92-70 win, the men start off the season 1-0. Junior guard Cam Jones picked up right where he left off with a game-high 20 points and 4 assists.
Man, that's my guy. I loved how he was tonight. Cam is a confident person. You could tell Cam was gonna have a good game when you seen him this morning, man. He came into the out real energetic, real happy like he always does. Had a great fit on. You know, he was just ready to go, all business, hair picked out, man. It was just great to see. It was great to see Cam and how he played. He played with pace. He took his shots, and then he made other guys better. So yeah.
And Kolek and Iguodaro joined Jones in double figures with 14 and 13 points respectively. Marquette finishes the night shooting 52% from the floor, with every player on the floor scoring.
I did think that everyone that went in the game gave us a contribution in some way or another, which is always a good step in the first game. We're going to have to figure out, our lineups and our rotations, because we do have a lot of guys that can go in and help us, and we do got some older guys that, have demonstrated a level of, championship pedigree. But that doesn't mean that, it just happens. They've got to go out and make it happen on both ends of the floor.
Wise words from Coach Shaka. Facing off against the University of Tennessee Martin Skyhawks, the Golden Eagles women's basketball team kicks off their season completely dominating. Opening in front of 3,000 Milwaukee Public School students, it's safe to say the Golden Eagles have gone and shown them a show. Marquette started the game down a bucket, but sophomore guard Mackenzie Hare showed the Skyhawks how the Golden Eagles really fly.
Hare went on a personal 8-0 run, picking apart Tennessee's defense like a QB.
The next 15 minutes of play would continue in a similar fashion as the Golden Eagles would go on a 33-16 run.
Closing out the half, senior guard Rosenkimu would get the steal and go-ahead bucket, bringing the score to 45-27.
Unfortunate for the Skyhawks, the second half pressure did not cease.
And Kemu kept the pedal to the metal, shooting an astounding from the forward blocks of 3 steals, while also dishing out the ball and picking up 10 assists.
This is her first double-double of the season.
And it won't be her last, London, as Marquette would cruise to the win over Tennessee 84-51. The Golden Eagles have 6 players and in double figures.
Sophomore guard Kenzie Hare scores 17, and the first-year forward Skylar Forbes in her first collegiate game with 14 points on 6 of 11 shooting. I call that efficiency. Coming up, did the volleyball team strike gold in Omaha? Find out after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Have you ever seen somebody treated unfairly because of the color of their skin?
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism and what do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
What are you looking for?
Welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Adrian Fraga.
And I'm London Davis. Nearing the end of what has been a roller coaster regular season, the number 25 ranked Marquette's women's volleyball team has their sights on a Big East title.
Roller coaster is an understatement because in their way, the number 17 ranked Creighton Blue Jays, a win here would put Marquette in the driver's seat to win the Big East regular season title.
Last time these two teams met, Marquette swept the Blue Jays 3-0.
Creighton comes out of the gates swinging as middle blocker Kiara Reinhardt starts the game off with a bang for the Blue Jays.
Last year's Big East Player of the Year, Nora Sis, is back from injury, and she puts Creighton up 16-9 with an emphatic block.
And that'll do it as Creighton takes the first set 25-18.
Middle blocker Hattie Bray sets the tone for Marquette to start the second set.
But the tone doesn't last, so Marquette fans look away as Creighton dominates the second set, taking it 25 to a measly 9.
The Golden Eagles go into their set fighting as middle blocker Carson Murray keeps it close.
But not close enough for the Golden Eagles, as a full-strength Blue Jays side is just way too much to handle as Creighton sweeps Marquette, taking set 3 26-24.
After Creighton left Marquette feeling blue, the volleyball team finds themselves in a three-way tie for first place in the Big East with Creighton and St. John.
Marquette looks to bounce back Friday as they head to Washington, D.C. to play Georgetown.
Monday marked the start of senior guard Jordan King's last season in the blue and gold. With over 100 games played, King is Marquette's most experienced player.
Executive sports producer Kristen Parisi shares how she hopes to lead her team to new heights.
When asked back in 2021 what she wanted the most, then women's basketball redshirt sophomore guard Jordan King had only one answer: winning a Big East championship. Fast forward 2 years later, and that goal still remains the same for the now star senior guard. But this time is different, as it is her last chance to bring the trophy home. And that ambition and loyalty to Marquette is what brought her back for one last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited to be able to take advantage of the opportunity, and I think to put the Marquette jersey on and play here at the Al again for one more year is really exciting, and I think even just to give everything I have back to the program for another year too, and just to be surrounded by these girls. I'm just really excited to kind of see what this season brings and, take full advantage of it.
Coming off an all Big East season, King is ready to make the most of her final year in the blue and gold, and her head coach Megan Duffy is excited to see it all unfold.
Yeah, Jordan has high goals, lofty expectations. One of her choices was to come back for her 5th year in her COVID year and just try and be better than last year. I mean, she was obviously a first-team All-League player. Statistically, she continues to improve in every category. Jordan wants to continue to lead our team both on and off the court.
King has spent 4 years as Marquette's starting point guard, and every year she has seen her stats and game improve. But King prides herself on the leadership and the ability to lead her team to new heights.
Just having the multiple returners with experience, especially for seniors with that experience, is really important. I think each of us bring a different level of leadership to the team as well.
King is committed to her final year at Marquette, but the Rockton, Illinois native has her sights set on becoming a professional basketball player, no matter what that'll look like.
After the season, definitely want to pursue playing professional basketball, and I think that obviously could look a different number of ways and something that I don't want to put my full focus on until the season is over with.
While the final whistle of her Marquette career is a ways away, King is ready to take on her last dance with the dream of cutting down the nets in March becoming a reality. Kristen Parisi, Marquette Wire Sports.
Adrian, I'm excited to see what Jordan cooks up this season. But after a busy weekend in Marquette sports, it's time to give our weekly awards. First up, Team of the Week. Even after losing Chloe Murata, the women's basketball team cruises to a Game 1 victory over University Tennessee Martin en route to winning Team of the Week. The Golden Eagles scored 84 points with 6 players ending the day in double figures. Junior guard Cam Jones came out firing against the Northern Illinois, landing him our MVP Week of award. Jones hit 3 3-pointers and ended the night with a game-high 20 points. He also tagged on 4 assists and 3 rebounds. We go back to the women's basketball team for our Newcomer of the Week award. Although it was her first collegiate basketball game, first-year forward Skylar Forbes showed no first-game jitters, scoring 14 points against the Skyhawks. Forbes shot 54% from the floor in 16 minutes.
And coming up this week in sports, the volleyball team heads over to Washington, D.C. to play Georgetown at 6 p.m. on Friday. Also on Friday, men's basketball will host Ryder at Pfizer Forum at 7:30 p.m. Meanwhile, Saturday, the women's basketball welcomes in a ranked opponent as they face number 23 ranked Illinois over in the Al at 2 p.m. But also don't forget that the volleyball team will be at Villanova to take on the Wildcats at 5 p.m. Saturday.
Coming up in professional sports, are the Dolphins frauds, Adrian?
Oh, slow down. Plus, who's been the most disappointing NBA team so far this year?
We dive in after the break.
Hey world, I have a quick message is about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Welcome back to Studio 7 as we discuss the latest surrounding professional sports. Joining me on the panel tonight is Adrian Fraga and Jack Albright. Let's get started. First, the Miami Dolphins are 6-3 on the season, but have yet to win against a team with a winning record. You know, it begs the question, are the Dolphins frauds? Adrian, since this is your hometown team, I will start with you.
I just want everyone to be a little tranqui, calm down when I say this. I will say that the Dolphins may not be as what everyone set them up to be. Everyone was setting them up as some kind of gargantuan super team, unstoppable. But the truth is, every team has an Achilles heel. And what is that Achilles heel for the Miami Dolphins? I'll tell you that I think the biggest issue and the biggest threat to the Dolphins and their success is actually the health of the offensive line. The offensive line is like absurdly hurt right now. Like Teron Armstead has already missed a lot of time this year because of injuries, and he's an all-pro left tackle, and he only recently came back against the Chiefs, and like he's notoriously known for playing through injuries, but that man is also really, really old. And not only that, Isaiah Wynn, who we picked up this year the Dolphins picked up this year from the Patriots, he's been really good playing at a Pro Bowl level. He recently got hurt, got put on IR. And then Rob Hunt, household name. He's the guy who did the little fullback dive into the end zone in midair, and everyone fell in love with him. He's also hurt. The Dolphins' O-line is absolutely killing them right now, is not giving Tua enough time to throw the ball. That is what I believe.
The profundity of it all. Jack, how about you?
Here's what I'm going to say. It says it in the question, winless against teams that have a winning record. That, I think, says all you need it to. They are overrated. They are not that good. Tua has made poor decisions. Yes, the O-line's hurt. I know that. Tua has made poor decisions, but the Dolphins can turn it around. Keep in mind, this season, there's still a lot more to go. The Dolphins have a lot of talent. Players will come back. Yes, the Dolphins can turn around, but so far, what we've seen from them is an overration.
I agree.
Yes.
I completely agree. And I think it's also worth noting that Jalen Ramsey, star cornerback, is recently coming back from injury. And ever since he's come back, the Dolphins' defense has been lights out. They held down former MVP Patrick Mahomes to less than 200 passing yards. That is unheard of. And now that Jalen Ramsey is back on the other side of Xavier Howard is no longer a number one option at corner, which is godsend because that man gets burnt for a job. That's what come on.
Okay, Adrian, I know you said earlier that you believe that the reason that they are failing as a team is because of the injuries of the O-line. But could you also put some of the blame on Tua? Because there's word going around that Tua might be overrated.
Wow. Like, his numbers speak for themselves. He still leads despite a bad game, he still leads the league in passing yards. He still has the most passing touchdowns, has the best passer rating in the NFL. He doesn't have the most yards per attempt. That honor goes to Brock Purdy. And that doesn't matter, though. He's still doing everything he can with the help. I'm not gonna go out here and say he's the best quarterback in the league, because he's not. No one is saying that he is, but he is absolutely not the problem. I believe that penalties, lack of discipline, and injuries are actually what's holding back the Dolphins.
Well, Jack, we know where he stands. What about you? Do you think that Tua is overrated?
You know, I said it before, Tua has had poor decision making, but Adrian is right. The stats speak for themselves. And the fact that there are so many other things hurting the Dolphins right now, they can turn around. Tua is not the issue.
Well, C.J. Stroud has been electric to start his career as a Texan, and after an absurd performance against the Bucs, he is on pace to being one of the best rookie QBs ever. Should he have gone first overall, Jack?
Yes, he should have. 14 touchdowns, 1 interception, 2,270 passing yards. He has looked unbelievable. Rookies don't normally do this. They don't have the composure that he shows on the field day in, week out. He 100% should have been picked first overall. Adrian, what are your thoughts?
Slow down with the. Let it be known. I am a huge C.J. Stroud fan. There's all the proof. The proof is in the pudding. There is a tweet from March 2nd, 2023 of my rankings of the quarterback class last year. And as you can see, C.J. Stroud might not be my one because I love Anthony Richardson as a project. He was also doing really good before he got hurt. But as you can clearly see, I think that C.J. Stroud was the better prospect coming out of college opposed to Bryce Young. But you can't just wipe out Bryce Young under the rug. He was poised to be. He was talked up to be an NFL-ready quarterback, and clearly that is not the case when the rest of your team is utter complete garbage. So he has no supporting cast. His best weapon is like a 38-year-old Adam Thielen. Like, keep feeding Adam Thielen by all means. He's doing the most he can. He's the safety blanket of that team. But it's Adam Thielen at this point. It's not Adam Thielen the Viking. We're talking about Adam Thielen the Panther, which is not as scary. Because Panthers should be scarier than Vikings. But in this case, I don't know. I think that if you get the Panthers team weapons and all that jazz, I think especially once my second round sleeper in Jonathan Mingo breaks out, I think that team's going to be in a much better trajectory coming forward. But I think C.J. Stroud is easily like the best quarterback in the class.
Well, speaking of Stroud, he led the Texans to a ridiculous comeback win, and so did Joshua Dobbs, who was traded to the Vikings earlier that week. But which team had the best win? Adrian, we'll start with you.
You know, I want to say that both teams probably shouldn't have won that game, if we're being honest. Those are both crazy games in a vacuum. But I will say the Vikings. The difference here is that we knew C.J. Stroud was a dog. It only just got reaffirmed. Whereas Joshua Dobbs is slowly coming on the come-up. Joshua Dobbs was literally traded to the Vikings that same week. And when I say same week, I mean, October 31st. He didn't even practice with the first team. He didn't even know the names of his teammates. I bet you he didn't even know the name of his third wide receiver, Brandon Powell. Got you, Joshua Dobbs. But that doesn't matter because KJ Osborne got hurt. Everything was against them, and he performed really well against a very, very underrated Falcons defense. So I'm gonna give the edge Joshua Dobbs, considering how he got the plays explained to him. He didn't really know what was going on, all that jazz.
Jack, your thoughts?
I'm going to agree with Adrian here. I mean, like the graphic said, C.J. Stroud, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. But when your head coach is explaining to you where on the field wide receivers are going to be in the middle of their routes, and you still find a way to come back, that is an unbelievable win. He 100% had the better comeback. Like Adrian said, he was traded there mid-week. He didn't practice with the first team, probably didn't know the name of the third wide receiver on the team, and the head coach is explaining to him where people are going to be. No quarterback should come out of that game with a win, but Joshua Dobbs was able to, and that I think really says everything you need it to.
Wow. Well, moving on to the NBA. Without Ja Morant to start the year, the Grizzlies are 1-6 and are currently the last seed in the Western Conference Finals. Excuse me, the Western Conference. We aren't even at the finals yet. Morant was given a 25-game suspension in the offseason. Will Ja Morant be able to turn the Grizzlies season around? Jack, let's start with you.
If he was coming back tonight, it would be a different story. He still has 18 games left on his suspension. 18 games. By the time he comes back, by the time those 25 games are up, I don't know what the Grizzlies' record is going to be, but I do know it will not be good and it will not be close to 500. By the time that happens, it will be too late. Like I said, Ja Morant is an all-star player. We know this. He's very talented on the court, but there's only so much one guy can do, and there's only so much one guy can do 26 games into the season.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Ja Morant, the 25-game suspension is absolutely deserving. And Ja Morant, we all know, heck of a player, former All-NBA selection, second overall pick, yada, yada, yada. Pero it's not just Ja Morant that's the problem. The team has zero depth whatsoever. The team is like in death hell because they have zero depth. They have no one to replace, at least comfortably replace Ja Morant. Marcus Smart is not the answer. I hate to tell you guys, but not only that, I think another big reason why the Grizzlies are actually 1-6 is because of the loss of Steven Adams, who Steven Adams is very, very much so past his prime. Just like Adam Thielen. A little callback, but Steven Adams underwent season-ending surgery before the season started, and the team recently signed Bismack Biyombo. But let's be real, does Bismack Biyombo push the needle? Like, does he? Because I'm going to say no.
I haven't seen him push the needle since he was a Hornet. And even then, that's a stretch. I mean, you guys are right. With Ja being gone for this long, it's not much that the Grizzlies can do, especially with how stacked the Western Conference is with all of these teams. And I think what the Grizzlies are trying to do, or at least what they tried to do to fill that role of missing Ja, they gave him too much leadership and not enough skill. You put Marcus Smart there, you put Derrick Rose there, and in terms to have a leadership position with Ja, but then now you need to fill a void of how are we going to actually get buckets? Like you said, with Steven Adams gone, that 5 spot is not going to honestly be replaceable because Jaren Jackson is more of a 4. And honestly, he's not a good 4 this season as of right now anyway. But in other news, there is a new in-season tournament for the NBA that will end in Vegas and give the winning players $500,000 each. But there's a lot of confusion surrounding the league and what it actually is. Was this a good idea for the NBA to make this tournament? We'll start with you, Adrian.
To put it lightly, it's a good idea on paper. For example, you take a test. You see an essay question that you don't quite know. So you start yapping and you start writing what you may conceive in your mind as a good answer at the time. But unfortunately, with the lack of execution and lack of ultimate proof, there is no way that you can consider the in-season tournament a good idea. The in-season tournament feels like not a lazy idea, I guess, but more like a rushed idea, I'd say, as to how the NBA can kind of draw more attention to the regular season, because the regular season it falters in compared to the NBA Finals and the playoffs. Let's be real.
Jack?
You said it isn't a lazy idea. It is a lazy idea. Adam Silver was very public about the fact that he's trying to base this off of what the Premier League does with the FA Cup. But what's cool about the Premier League and the FA Cup is that you play teams you don't normally play. These are just normal regular season games played on wacky courts for $500,000. That's the only way I have any idea whether or not it's the in-season tournament or not, is if the hideous courts are shown out.
Okay.
Don't forget hideous jerseys. I had to sprinkle that.
All of the jerseys are not bad. All of the courts are not bad. Honestly, on paper, it is a good idea, but it also brings a competitive nature to in the middle of the season, which we don't really get. But I thank you both for your answers, but we are out of time. Be sure to join us next week for all of our coverage of Marquette sports and more. I'm London Davis. Good night, Marquette.